let's take a look at your 12 basic strikes. There are 12 strikes in many Filipino martial arts because there are 12 patron saints of the Philippines. There's nothing magical about the number 12 though. Some systems have 5, some have 8, some have 9. You can add any number of strikes in there that you want. It just depends, on how narrowly you want to create your numbering system. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and be done with it, right? Or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for infinity. Okay, so what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the 12 strikes that come from our system here. First one is going to be, I step up with the right foot, and I'm going to throw a control strike. So with a control strike goes out and stays out. This is not something that you're going to want to do in a fight, but this is something that a skill you're going to want to develop so you can help your training partner, right? I can't swing through with my partner every single time and just blast him every single time. I've got to give him an opportunity to be able to deal with this shot, right? So, and like I said, it also helps with your control and your grip strength to be able to, and your targeting, right? To be able to come out and just barely touch that, right? Or not touch it at all and just come very close, or hit it very hard, right? So control is where you develop that sensitivity and that dexterity in your movement, right? So we'll go here. When I come back, my stick comes back to the other side like this. Comes back with intent. Don't get in the habit of letting your stick come up and just putting it here for you to set up for your next power move, right? This might wind up being my block. This returns back from my next strike. So when I throw a number 1, I'm going to the temple, mandible, jawline, or to the collarbone if I'm using a stick. If I'm going with a sword, I'll just go into the throat, okay? So 1 is going to be temple, high line here. When I come back to 2, I'm going to the same thing on the other side of the head. When I go to 3, I'm going straight across this side of the body. And you can have still a little bit of a downward angle, or it can come flat across like this. But what you're going to be targeting is either the elbow or the hand, or if their head is this high, right? This is still a 3. You can 3 somebody in the face if that's where their face is. Okay, so 3 is here. When I go back to 4, I bring my foot back and I step forward for 4 on the other side like this. Okay. One thing also, now is probably a good time to mention, is that I want contact from my stick made when it is still in front of my center like this, right? This hurts. I don't mind hitting like this at times if that's where the person is and I'm turning this way and I want to reach out and pop them. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But if I want to take their head off, I'm going to turn and make contact when my center is pointed right at this target, right? If I give you a jar that's very difficult to open or a towel to wring out, you don't hold it over here beside you. As you start wringing that out and tighten it down, you're going to drop it right into your center. This is where you're made to be strongest, is right here in front of your middle like this. Otherwise, you would open the jar over here, obviously, right? So I want to step in, make contact when my center is pointing at the target at the time of impact. And we've covered 4 here. 5, I'm switching my feet every time, so I'm stepping up and I'm thrusting. 5, if this is done with a stick, I may go right into the sternum. If this is a sword, I'm going to go underneath the rib cage and try to get to the heart of the lungs behind the ribs, right? So I don't want to have to go through the ribs to get there with a 5, right? I want to go underneath it into the soft tissue and dig it up in them this way, okay? So that's 5. 6, my feet come back, my stick comes up, I step forward, and 6 this way. So 6 is going to go into the shoulder. If you're very precise, you might try to cut into the deltoid tendon, and this might be used when you're moving offline like this, in the same way that I might jam a shoulder. If I'm inside, I'm going to jam that shoulder to keep it from coming out, right? To keep that punch from coming out right away, right? So I may do this and stab with my 6 this way. It can also go into the heart, which is going to be right at nipple height is fine. But so when I move into the heart, I'm still stabbing at basically a 6. There's not much variation in between those two. Okay, 7, same thing on the other side like this, right? So I want to thrust, good solid wrist control, just like the 6 wrist. I'm not bending my wrist over like this. I see this all the time where folks do this with their shots. This is 75% of the way to the disarm. It takes virtually nothing from here to knock this the rest of the way out of my hand. as opposed to this, which now it has to transfer all the way to that exact same spot before it comes out. So don't get in the habit of letting your wrist bend all kinds of crazy ways. For the most part, you want to keep it at 90 degrees, right? Where that's going to have the most powerful grip, okay? So 7, again, stepping up with the right foot and thrusting to the same place as 6, but on the opposite side, okay? 8, it's going to be a knee shot like this, right? Like I said, it could be a head shot if that's where their head is, right? I'm just looking at this low line attack. What you want with your striking styles or your 12 basic strikes is just to be able to cover all the angles. It doesn't matter if there's 5 of them or 10 of them or 20 or whatever. All in all, I want to be able to hit anywhere to this person, right? And likewise, I want to be able to defend any of those numbers from this same person as well, or from whoever, obviously. But anyway, so 8, I step up to the left foot, and I'm striking here, right? Don't forget to engage your hips, boom, right? I'm turning as I make this impact, right? I still want impact on 8 and 9 at the time that my center is aligned with the target right here. I'm not throwing like this, cutting like this into my center this way, right? So 9 is down here to the knee on the other side, right? 8, back up, 9. When I go to 10, I'm coming back to this side. 10 is going to be a thrust, and this time we're just shooting for the eyeball, okay? Anything on the face, of course, with a sword or even a stick really will be fine, but if you can stick that in their eye, all the better, right? So I'm aiming for the eye here like this, other hand up. When I go back to 11, I just pull that across, and 11, the exact same thing on the other side. Now, in all of these, my feet have switched every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to switch it on 12. When I go 10, 11, 12, okay? 11, roof block, 12, just like that. Here, drop my tip, go back to the exact same place, right? Okay, that's control strikes, okay? With recoil strikes, the stick goes out and back on the same place it came from, so it's on the same line to the same target, right? And if it shoots off my right shoulder, it returns to my right shoulder. When I switch to the other side, I'll bring this over for my parry, and I'll move over to the other side, and I'll throw my number 2 recoil, which will come right back to my chambered shoulder on the left-hand side. So it's 1, parry, parry, 3. Numbering system is the same. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Remember, from 12, I don't change my feet again. So it's 11 recoil, 12 recoil, like that. Swing through, it's not too hard to figure out. Strike comes all the way through, like this. Number one problem I think people have with this is as they're doing this, I don't know if you can see, but I'm not edge oriented when I'm making contact, right? My sword is cutting this way, but my impact is going across like this. Your edge should always be driving into your target, right? So when I make my swing through shots, swinging all the way through my target before I let this wrist roll back over, right? So with the swing through, it goes through the target and chambers on the opposite side already. So control stays out, chambers when we move our feet. Recoil out and in, changes when we move our feet. Swing through, down, it's already chambered. So when I move my foot, nothing happens here, okay? So we'll go 1, back, back, 4, back, 5, here, 6, 7. I do my swing throughs just a little bit different because what you'll find is some people that'll do a control, some people do recoil. When I throw my 6, I come all the way through like this, right? Now I step up with my 7, come all the way back through the other side. I've thrown 7 here, so I have to come back around to throw my 8. When you come back around, don't come around your head like an idiot, right? Here, in front of you, so that I can still block, right? Here, I've thrown 8. 8 swings through, I'm here on the other side, I throw 9. 9 swings through, but my next shot is a 10, it's gonna be on this other side. So when I swing through a 9, I'm gonna draw my sword back up. 10, 11, 12, right? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just like that. All right, those are the 12 basic strikes done with control, recoil, swing through. All right, practice those, right hand, left hand, and you'll be all set. Always, as always, remember, like, subscribe, share, anything you can do to help me out would be greatly appreciated. All right, y'all have a good day. Take care.